What is a scam? What external threats must be taken into consideration? How can they be avoided? How not to get robbed? Everything you need to know to stay safe. In this material, I will show you the dark side of cryptocurrencies, digital frauds, and situations in which people lost their life savings through specific stories that occurred in recent years. Knowing all these examples will make it much easier for you to prepare for the day when one of these situations tries to access your funds. If you are actively involved in the world of cryptocurrencies and blockchain and wonder if this concerns you, I would ask a different question in your place. When and how will you encounter this? And will you be able to handle it correctly? We'll discuss that in a moment. Let's start from the beginning. What does the term scam mean? In other words, it is a fraud resulting in the intentional actions of individuals or third parties causing us to lose money or exposing our sensitive personal data, putting us at real risks in the future. To be completely honest, scam is a topic that cannot be fully covered because cryptocurrency market deception evolves rapidly, changes extremely quickly, and hackers constantly come up with new, creatively cunning ideas to try to access our wallets. This is the first crucial piece of information you should remember. Despite everything you will hear in this material, you should never be convinced that you know it all, because there is always the possibility of something new emerging that will completely catch you off guard. In the later part of this course, I will share with you the principles I have been successfully using for many years to be prepared even for potential threats that we may not be aware of today. Most of the online security content revolves around issues such as downloading malicious software, entering your password in the wrong place, clicking on a malicious link, granting access to your wallet to unwanted applications, and so on. In this material, I will show you the most important examples of the most dangerous scams, with many of which I have personally encountered and those that occurred during my presence in the market, allowing me to directly and continuously monitor each of them, gaining valuable experience. If you are dealing with a capital of a few dollars, this material will be an interesting addition and knowledge that may simply come in handy someday. If your portfolio is in the hundreds or thousands of dollars, please keep in mind that it is always worth taking a moment to reflect on what and how we are doing, so that due to haste or lack of knowledge, we don't end up doing something foolish. I assume that valuable lessons will be better for you than costly ones. This material aims to show you a certain skepticism, because often it is precisely a skeptical approach and composure that will save your own back. One very common method of deception, often the first encountered by newcomers in the crypto world, is financial pyramids. Initially, everyone seems to think that everyone makes money with cryptocurrencies, and always, so it is easy to convince beginners to invest capital under the pretext of good, stable, and guaranteed profits. Since I've been involved in cryptocurrencies, which is for the past 7 years, I've had the opportunity to come across over 40 such pseudo-investments. There was once a company called BitConnect, which operated mainly in 2016 and 2017. They appeared on television, organized meetings for the community, told people about the incredible opportunities that were emerging before them. But in reality, the whole operation was a classic example of a Ponzi scheme incorporating cryptocurrencies. Through BitConnect, you could deposit funds, lock them in staking, and this entitled you to participate in high-interest profits. As is often the case with financial pyramids, the scheme is always the same. At the beginning, everything works as it should. New users appear who deposit their money, so there is enough to make payouts and no one suspects anything wrong. The problem arises when the pyramid reaches a point where there are more payouts than deposits and there is no longer enough money to fulfill them. When that day came for BitConnect, the closure of the service was announced and its price plunged, marking a 99% drop in value within a few hours. The company instantly became insolvent and all the funds deposited by users simply disappeared. You can see on the chart how this sad story unfolded, and now imagine waking up in the morning, brewing coffee, sitting down refreshed and relaxed at the computer to check how your capital is doing, and seeing something like this. Unpleasant, isn't it? Of course, many of you might think now, but it was known that such high profit is suspicious. They could have guessed and been cautious. It's true. Today, many more people are aware of this, but at that time, it was relatively new for cryptocurrencies, and the whole aura surrounding the project dulled the vigilance of many investors. To make you aware that such situations happen all the time, we had something like ArbitraCoin, a pseudo-arbitrage software that didn't actually exist, and we had WeGo Crypto, which operated on a similar principle. Here, we have a company offering 102,000% return over the course of a year. Just deposit a little money and you can become a millionaire. Honestly, I don't know how naive someone has to be to believe in something like that. These 102,000% APYs are the last desperate cry in the hope that some new investors will appear because the project, that coin, has already collapsed. From 19 cents to zero, with no chance of a future, and something new of this kind emerges every week, often operating on MLM principles, which means it might be promoted by your friends who will earn a percentage from your entry. At this moment, I can tell you with 100% certainty that when such an incredible pseudo-opportunity arises, where you can deposit your funds with a massive annual profit, it's not even worth wasting time on it because, in such cases, creators of financial pyramids are looking for gullible and inexperienced people they can profit from. Such projects have been emerging forever, and they will always emerge because it simply pays off for their creators. The graphic design may change, the idea of presenting them may change, but one thing remains unchanged: the disappointment of investors when everything collapses. As an interesting fact, I'll add that there's a Netflix series on this topic called Madoff, the Monster of Wall Street. It's worth watching to see how this man was able to create the largest classic pyramid scheme that ever existed. In my opinion, it's an educational financial masterpiece and a film worth attention. Another significant scam, sharing many similarities with the previously mentioned pyramid, is the rug pool. In this scheme, the creators of a project hold a vast amount of the created tokens in their own accounts, allowing the price to rise on the exchange, generating widespread interest. When the demand is high and intense, they sell all their tokens at once, crashing the price to zero. Sometimes, this process takes a few hours, sometimes a few days, with no set rules. I found several such tokens in just a few minutes while preparing this material. Here's the first one, the second, and the third. These are just today's examples, illustrating how common such behavior is. On the internet, you can find interviews with individuals engaged in such practices, stating that they make thousands to millions of dollars on each such action. Even if they were caught, the profits would still make it worthwhile. One of the biggest exit scams of this kind occurred in 2022, capitalizing on the popularity of the TV series Squid Game. Crypto scammers created a coin inspired by the show, and its value gradually increased, then skyrocketed to an astonishing $2,800 per unit. At that point, the creators dumped their entire reserves onto the market, causing the price to plummet to zero within a second. Anyone who bought the coin earlier, regardless of the price, had no chance of selling it to anyone else. There are many such projects, especially on decentralized exchanges, so it's essential to be well prepared for investments, as discussed in the material on the investor's mindset, to avoid falling into such situations. I'll emphasize again that rug pools have always existed and will continue to emerge for a long time because their creators are highly organized and can quickly earn substantial profits with minimal effort. So, be cautious of them. The third significant issue is phishing, which involves impersonating a specific institution, company, or individual to persuade the user to take specific actions. It's quite amusing that while preparing this material, I received an email warning from Trezor, the manufacturer of hardware wallets, cautioning about the increasing phishing attempts. On the Ledger Wallet's main page, the competitor to Trezor, under the Ongoing Phishing Campaigns tab, we can see that their security system identified 226 fake social media profiles claiming to be their company. They also shut down 101 websites attempting to scam users by posing as the Ledger company. Unfortunately, these statistics only cover the last month. It's a substantial number, and honestly, I was surprised by how frequently thieves try to gain users' trust in this way. This happens because cold wallet owners are typically individuals with a significant amount of cryptocurrencies and substantial funds. Remember that no reputable company, exchange, or even a regular bank will ever contact you for any reason. They will never send you an email or letter requesting your personal information. Any unusual situation where someone from the outside contacts you without prior interaction on your part should raise suspicions. Contact from representatives of various exchanges, services, or institutions related to cryptocurrencies should only result from your previous inquiries, reporting technical issues, sending an email with questions, and so on. In other words, the interaction should always start from your side, not the other way around. Phishing campaigns can also be creative to the extent that hackers even sent out counterfeit cold wallets, packaged the same as the original, with a letter stating that the previous order contained a faulty device. Therefore, the company is sending a new, functional one. In reality, an additional microprocessor recording passwords was inside. Could you detect it on time? I've also seen photos of a device being sold on a popular auction site where someone prepared a list of seed phrases configured for a wallet beforehand. This list could be scratched off like a lottery ticket, and someone who had never configured a device before might think that's how it should be. There are numerous examples, and on the Ledger official website, you can find a comprehensive list of such situations. If you stay in the crypto world for a longer time, you will undoubtedly be surprised by the ingenuity. Hence, this security course was created. It's better to spend a few hours learning smart things than to lose money and life savings due to foolishness or ignorance. The most significant success of the entire training course I published on Udemy would be if you managed to avoid losing funds, because that's a brilliant start and a strong foundation for any goal you set for yourself. The continuation of this material, as well as discussion of all other relevant information on how to protect yourself from such threats, can be found on the Udemy platform in a comprehensive cybersecurity course, the link to which is located below this video.